Picture this: a tropical paradise, crystal clear water, white sand beaches. The sun is shining, and the waves are gently lapping at the shore. It's the kind of place where you can almost hear the stress melting away. Sounds perfect, right? Not so fast. For blended families, vacations can be a recipe for disaster. The idyllic setting can quickly become a battleground of emotions and expectations. I've seen it countless times on my show. The stress of travel, the pressure to create perfect memories. Everyone wants the trip to be flawless, but the reality is often far from it. It can turn a dream vacation into a nightmare. The very things that are supposed to bring joy can become sources of tension and conflict. Let me tell you about one family's experience. A couple, let's call them John and Mary, decided to take a trip to Hawaii with their kids. They had been planning this vacation for months, hoping it would be a chance to bond and create lasting memories. John had 2 children from a previous marriage. Mary had 1. They were a blended family, still navigating the complexities of their new relationships. They were determined to make it a happy and memorable experience for everyone. But things quickly went south. The excitement of the trip soon gave way to underlying tensions. From the moment they arrived at the airport, tensions were high. The hustle and bustle of the airport only added to the stress. John's ex-wife, let's call her Susan, had called multiple times to check in on the kids. Each call was a thinly veiled interrogation. She wanted to know every detail, every plan, every moment. It was clear that Susan was trying to control the situation from afar. Mary felt disrespected and undermined. She had hoped this trip would be a chance to bond with John's kids, but Susan's constant interference made it difficult. As they boarded the plane, the kids were already bickering. The excitement of the trip had worn off, and the reality of being in close quarters was setting in. John's son, Josh, was glued to his video game. He barely looked up, lost in his own world. His daughter, Lily, was whining about wanting a snack. She was hungry and irritable, and her complaints were starting to grate on everyone's nerves. Mary's daughter, Emma, was trying to read a book, but was constantly interrupted. She just wanted a moment of peace, but it seemed impossible. John and Mary exchanged weary glances. This was not the relaxing vacation they had envisioned. They had hoped for a break from the daily grind, but instead, they were dealing with a new set of challenges. The flight was just a taste of what was to come. The stress and tension were only beginning to build. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a vacation from hell. The challenges they faced on the plane were nothing compared to what awaited them in paradise. The beautiful setting couldn't mask the underlying issues that were about to surface. Blended families face unique challenges, especially on vacation. The idea of a family vacation is often romanticized as a time for bonding and creating lasting memories. However, for blended families, the reality can be far more complicated. You're trying to blend different personalities, parenting styles, and family traditions. It's a delicate dance that requires patience, understanding, and a lot of compromise. Each family member brings their own set of expectations and habits, which can sometimes clash. And when you add in the stress of travel and the pressure to create perfect memories, it's no wonder that things can go wrong. The idyllic vision of a perfect vacation can quickly turn into a stressful ordeal, filled with arguments and misunderstandings. One of the biggest challenges is dealing with ex-partners. The presence of an ex-partner can cast a long shadow over the vacation, making it difficult to fully relax and enjoy the time away. Even in the best of circumstances, co-parenting can be difficult. Coordinating schedules, agreeing on rules, and maintaining open communication are all essential but challenging tasks. But when you throw in a vacation, it can become a minefield. The change in routine and environment can exacerbate existing tensions and create new ones. Ex-partners may feel jealous, territorial, or simply want to exert control. This can lead to a range of disruptive behaviors, from passive-aggressive comments to outright confrontations. This can lead to phone calls, text messages, and even surprise visits that can disrupt the entire trip. Such interruptions can make it difficult to maintain a sense of peace and unity within the blended family. Another challenge is navigating different parenting styles. Each parent may have their own approach to discipline, bedtime routines, and even meal choices. One parent may be more lenient, while the other is stricter. These differences can create confusion and tension, especially for the children who are caught in the middle. This can lead to confusion and conflict, especially when it comes to discipline. Kids are smart. They quickly learn to navigate these differences to their advantage. They can sense these discrepancies and will often play one parent against the other. This can create a cycle of manipulation and resentment that is hard to break. And let's not forget about the stepchildren. They are often the ones who feel the most pressure to adapt and fit in. They're trying to adjust to a new family dynamic. This can be particularly challenging during a vacation, where the usual routines and support systems are not in place. They may feel caught in the middle, torn between their biological parents and their step-parent. This can lead to feelings of loyalty, conflict, and emotional stress. Vacations can intensify these feelings, as they're forced to spend extended periods of time with people they may not always get along with. The confined space and lack of personal time can make small issues seem much larger. Despite these challenges, it's important to remember that blended families can also find moments of joy and connection. With patience, empathy, and open communication, it's possible to create positive memories that will last a lifetime. The key is to manage expectations, be flexible, and focus on the positives. Every family has its own unique dynamics, and blended families are no different. Embracing these differences can lead to a richer, more fulfilling vacation experience for everyone involved. Communication is key in any relationship, but it's especially important in blended families. When communication breaks down, it can lead to misunderstandings, resentment, and conflict. And on vacation, when emotions are already running high, these problems can quickly escalate. One common communication problem is a lack of clarity. Parents may have different expectations for the vacation. They may not be on the same page about the budget, the itinerary, or even the rules for the kids. This can lead to arguments and frustration. Another problem is poor listening skills. When people are stressed or upset, they often stop listening to each other. They may interrupt, get defensive, or simply tune out. This can make it impossible to resolve conflicts and move forward. And then there's the issue of triangulation. This is when one person communicates through a third party, such as a child or another family member, instead of speaking directly to the person they have an issue with. Triangulation is toxic because it creates drama and prevents open and honest communication. Back to John, Mary, and their Hawaiian vacation from hell. What was supposed to be a time of relaxation and family bonding quickly turned into a nightmare. The tension that started at the airport only escalated as the days went by. Every small disagreement seemed to snowball into a major conflict. Susan called constantly, interrogating the kids about their every move. Her incessant questioning made the children anxious and uneasy, casting a shadow over their activities. She criticized Mary's parenting, questioned John's decisions, and generally made life miserable for everyone. Her words were like daggers, piercing through any semblance of peace they tried to maintain. One evening, while John was out on the balcony trying to get some peace and quiet, Susan called yet again. The sound of his phone ringing was enough to make his heart sink. This time she was furious. Her voice was filled with venom as she unleashed a tirade of accusations. She had seen pictures on social media of the kids having fun with Mary. The sight of their smiling faces seemed to fuel her anger even more. She accused John of trying to replace her and threatened to take him to court for full custody. The threat hung in the air like a dark cloud, adding to the already heavy atmosphere. John had reached his breaking point. The constant barrage of negativity was too much for him to handle. He yelled at Susan, telling her to back off and let them enjoy their vacation. His voice echoed through the night, a desperate plea for some semblance of normalcy. Mary, hearing the commotion, came out to see what was going on. She could sense the gravity of the situation even before she saw John's face. She could see the anger and frustration on John's face. It was a look she had seen too many times before, a look that spoke of deep-seated issues. The phone call was a turning point. It was as if a dam had burst, releasing all the pent-up emotions that had been building up for so long. It brought all the simmering tensions to a boil. The facade of a happy family vacation was shattered, revealing the cracks that had been there all along. Mary realized that this was not just a vacation gone wrong. It was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the underlying issues that needed to be addressed. This was a symptom of a much deeper problem. The constant interference from Susan, the communication breakdowns, the conflicting parenting styles, it was all taking its toll. The constant interference from Susan, the communication breakdowns, the conflicting parenting styles, it was all taking its toll. They needed to find a way to navigate these challenges if they were to salvage their family dynamic. John and Mary knew they had to take action. They couldn't let Susan's toxic behavior continue to dictate their lives. They needed to set boundaries and find a way to communicate more effectively. Perhaps family therapy was the answer. A neutral third party could help them address their issues and find a way to move forward. Despite the challenges, there was a glimmer of hope. They were determined to work through their problems and create a healthier environment for their children. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they were committed to making it work. For the sake of their family, they would face their issues head-on and strive for a better future. When things get heated, it's easy to lose your cool. But as a parent, especially a step-parent, it's crucial to remain calm and maintain your authority. Kids are looking for guidance and stability, especially in stressful situations. If you lose your temper, you'll only make things worse. One way to stay calm is to take a step back from the situation. If you feel yourself getting angry or overwhelmed, excuse yourself and take a few minutes to collect your thoughts. Go for a walk, listen to some music, or do some deep breathing exercises. It's also important to avoid getting drawn into arguments. If your partner's ex is trying to bait you, don't take the bait. Respond calmly and assertively, but don't engage in a shouting match. Remember, you're the adult in the situation. And finally, don't be afraid to set boundaries. Let your partner's ex know what you will and will not tolerate. If she continues to overstep her boundaries, be prepared to enforce consequences. This may mean limiting contact, refusing to engage in certain conversations, or even ending the vacation early.